instead of taking a drink, I'm going to have a chip. Right?
Yes, have many chips. By the way, I mean to ask you, you're a professor of philosophy, aren't you?
Retired. Well,
right.
they kicked me out. They paid me to go away.
Nevertheless, you've had training in philosophy, so I should ask the question everyone else should, has been asking philosophers within the last 15 minutes.
What's that?
If a tree falls in a forest and nobody's there to hear it, make a sound. What do you have to say? What does Aristotle say on behalf of this question?
Aristotle is too smart to even acknowledge that as a proper question. He would say to the person who wrote that question, get out! Get out!
Get out of
You're an idiot.
My school. And then he walks over to Plato's school, right? Well, what does Plato have to say about that?
Well, none of the ancients, none of the antiquarian philosophies or philosophers. Oh, what are you eating? A pita chip? You're eating a pita chip, right?
Pita chip.
Don't do it so sensually, okay? I'm trying to discuss philosophy here. You're really distracting me. The way you're.
What's the difference? Love of wisdom, love of.
Anyway, the antiquarian philosophers, they never considered if a tree falls in the forest it doesn't make a sound. And the reason why is because this is an argument from analogy. Arguments from analogy are inductive arguments, but they are the weakest of all inductive arguments. And you know why they're the weakest of all inductive arguments?
So you're going to tell me.
Yes, because the analogy is never proportionate to the real thing. Okay? It's never proportionate to the real thing. We have other thought experiment analogies that are contemporary that you probably know, the one about the trolley, the one about the impossible barber from Bertrand Russell. You probably know all of these things.
Sure, I could probably list a few, but...
Yeah. But the reason why thought experiments are just bullshit philosophy, they're for lazy professors who don't know anything, are not really philosophers. They're professors of philosophy. Let me make this distinction. There are philosophers. Let's say there are people who think about reality, truth, goodness, and beauty. And then there are professors of philosophy, right, who are filled with bullshit and have a PhD, pile high and deep bullshit. PhD.
So wait a secsecond. Let's say I go to the university and I get my degree in philosophy.
I think I'll have a chip.
Have many more. So, and then I have my degree and I got to go over to, now I got to start working. I got to go over to the philosophy factory and produce some philosophy. Well, what am I supposed to do? I need to be cranking out something if it's not philosophy experiments.
No, you're right.
So what am I supposed to be cranking now?
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely correct. Because the major questions of philosophy have already been well argued, there's really nihil noli sub soli. There's really nothing new under the sun with the major questions about reality, truth, goodness, and beauty. Thank you. Right. So if you have a position in philosophy, if you're a PhD at Santa Bumpkin Silly College and you're the department chairman, you have to crank out bullshit. Pure, unadulterated bullshit. And the way you do this is you create, what if you were driving a trolley and you could see up ahead, oh my God, there are workers on the tracks. Oh, and then I try to apply the brake, but the brakes are broken. What do I do? Oh, what do I do?
That's not how the trolley analogy works, but yeah, sure.
How does it work?
Well, you have two tracks. One track, well, there's different variations of this, but I'll go with the most common one.
Variation. Yeah.
This is the most common one to my knowledge. On one side, there's a group of people, of workers all on the track, and on the other side is your best friend or your mother or someone like that. And the brakes don't work because that would make this analogy, based in reality. And you can't yell out and tell them to run away because that's also based in reality.
Yeah.
The only option you have is you only can do two things in this situation. You can go right and you can go left. You can change the track.
No, there are three things.
What was the third?
Do nothing.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And this is never mentioned. By the way, this trolley thought experiment was invented by some idiot professor at Harvard. Right.
Well, then you know he's stupid if he's from Harvard.
Who thinks he's a big ass bullshitter, right? And you can't bullshit a bullshitter like me. I'm a bullshitter, okay? I know fucking bullshit when I see it. All right?
I prefer constipation.
Yeah. Anyway, so this guy he's been teaching the same crap for the last 10 years. He hasn't changed his syllabus at all. Okay. So there are three things that you can do. One of which is never mentioned by this bullshit professor, this bullshit PhD from Harvard, and that is you don't do anything. There's no categorical Kantian imperative that you must decide to pull the train to the right and kill fewer people, or pull the train to the left and kill more people. There's no imperative to that. There's no. All right?
Well, that's the other thing is in pretty much all these thought experiments, the conclusion is inferred by the question.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Let's go back to the tree falling in the forest, because
sure.
most of our listeners and our viewers, they probably have heard this one. All right, and it's probably caused them. Wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense. If there's nobody standing in the forest and a tree falls, does it make a sound? Okay.
This is one of those things. If Christine Blasey Ford says that she was raped by Brett Kavanaugh and no one was there to see it happen, did she get raped? It's the exact same thing.
You pulled that right out of your ass, didn't you? You pulled that right out of your ass. I love it. It's great. All right. So okay. So yeah. Sound. What they omit from this whole experiment is that the word sound is relative to a detection device. Either the human.
You have the hymns of old singing in the background, which are talking about sound.
I'm an antiquarian. Okay, I'm an antiquarian, right?
Among other. You're in an aquarium. You're in an.
Watch it now. Don't get frisky. Don't get frisky.
Sorry.
The word sound. I think I have another chip. The word sound. No. The word sound is relative to a detection device that's capable of registering sound. Now that could be the human ear. It also could be an electroencephalograph. It could also be an oscilloscope. There are many instruments that we can put in the forest to find out if there's a sound. It doesn't have to be a body, but the thought experiment that these bullshit PhDs give to their bullshit Harvard students entails what? Oh, is there a person? Is there a sound if there's no person?
Okay. One more thought experiment, then we'll conclude.
All right.
Now, there's also lots of variations on this one. It could be a boat, it could be a car, whatever. Let's say you bought this prized boat. You love it, but because you've had it for so long, you need to replace the parts. The deck's falling apart.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah. So you need to replace. So you replace one board, then you repaint it.
Over 20 years.
50 years. Thing, right? It's every single individual part has been replaced. Right. Is it still the same boat?
No, it's not the same boat. No, it's not the same boat. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you a fucking idiot? It's not the same fucking boat. It's another boat. Clearly.
So then because so then the next thing they do is they immediately talk, well, if each cell in your body dies and is replaced, then are you a new person?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, the mystery of how we know, this is an interesting. This is really a very good question. How is it that I wake up the same person as Mark McIntyre that I went to bed with as Mark McIntyre? I actually go to bed with myself, by the way. Anyway, I'll let you ponder that one. But why is it that we wake up the same person that went to sleep? We don't know. This is the thing that we don't know about. We don't know about the fact of the survivability, the consistency of the individual consciousness. It's called the problem of individual consciousness. And it is a genuine philosophical problem, and nobody has the answer to this. And the reason for that is because we don't know enough about brain neurology. We simply don't know about that. Okay?
Now, the former chairman of the philosophy department basically explained that
we don't need any old ideas, Mark.
He who shall not be named.
Yes.
We used to have a game.
But he has a following. He has a following of what you call white stoners, right?
Yes. That's what we. Anyone who's in all the yeah. So
All right.
We actually talked about this guy a little bit too much. So anytime we mentioned the name, we would pay the other person $1. I never spent $1 because I'm good at not spending money, unlike Professor McIntyre.
I know.
Anyway, this individual constantly asserts that all there is to who you are is neurons and neuron activity and brain sparkles and all that stuff and chemicals. Chemicals. That's what consciousness is. It's just
right.
So, what's your response to that?
Oh, my response is that even if I could miniaturize you and make you into a little itty bitty nano thing, and if I could put you inside of my brain, okay, and you could walk around, you would not see me praying. You would not see my prayer while I was praying. You would see the neurological firings while I was praying. That's what you would see. Okay, so there definitely is something that transcends the neurological, because there's no way, absolutely no way, the present technology, that any empirical observation can detect transcendental realities like prayer. They've actually tried to construct experiments in.
I've heard of some of these.
Yeah. They've actually tried to wire people up in psych labs, okay, around the country, big prestigious universities, and they have noticed that while people are praying to God, for instance, there's a hyperactivity in certain segments of the brain. Well, let's imagine we could miniaturize Alex and put Alex in the middle of that, and Alex could walk around and watch what was going on. Would you see my prayer? No, you wouldn't. You'd only see the electrochemical firings of what was going on in my brain. You would not see my prayer. Only God will see my prayer.
Step back. Your mouth is out of shot. But so you do admit that there is, in conclusion, you do admit there is some merit to these thought experiments.
No, there's no merit to the thought experiments. No, I don't admit that at all. No. It's arguments from analogy, which are what thought experiments are, because they're analogical. They're the weakest form of induction. I know I sound like I'm reciting a canon from philosophy, and I really believe that there are no canons of philosophy. But I must say, the only value that thought experiments have, and here's what their value is. They do get students to think about the problem. I'll grant them that. And for that, I am happy.
Now, the sad thing is that's where they stop. They also just stop at the thought experiment, and they're ultimately they're phrased to be unanswerable questions.
Well, that's because they're stupid and their professors are stupid.
Well, unfortunately, yes. I'm Alex Minaj, that's Mark McIntyre, and this is the Alex and Mark Show. Bye-bye.
Have a nice thought experiment.
What? That's your end cue?
Bye-bye.